Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Nayam Chaivam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudire. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Tato Jayam Mudire. Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nitya Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Uttama Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Welcome to this discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. We are right now discussing Canto 1, Chapter 14, Disappearance of Lord Krishna. In our previous discussion, we covered the slokas pertaining to the past suspicion of Yudhishthira. There are totally 7 sections here, and section number 1 is suspicion of Yudhishthira. In this, we covered up to shloka number 7. Uh, let us Let us discuss the shloka 9, 8, and go forward. Just to give a introduction um, about this chapter, just a recap. Narada Muni entered that Lord Krishna had disappeared on this planet, and thus Pandavas could plan their return. This was during discussion between Narada Muni and Pandavas after the Rashtra quit home. And we also see that 7 months ago, Arjuna had gone to Dwaraka to meet Krishna, and he has not returned back. Meanwhile, Yudhishthira Maharaj saw many inauspicious moments in his kingdom. He saw irregularities in seasons, people becoming greedy and deceitful, and so on. As Yudhishthira Maharaj was speaking of these inauspicious signs to his brother Bhima, Arjuna arrives. Seeing Arjuna so dejected with tears in his eyes, Yudhishthir Maharaj is asking several questions. So this is the just the introduction of what the recap of this chapter. Let us go to shloka number 8. Api devarishi nadistah sakaloyam upastitah yadatmanvangam akridam bhagavan uchshishti. Is he going to quit his earthly pastimes as Devrishi Narada indicated? Has that time already arrived? So this he refers to Lord Shri Krishna. There is one interesting shloka in shloka number 1.13.50. Nispaditam devakrityam avashesham pratikshate tavadiyam avekshapram bhaved yavat iheshvaraha. Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods, and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as Lord is there on earth. We see that Narada Muni has already indicated that Lord Shri Krishna has completed his activities, and therefore uh, he will be leaving this earthly planet soon. Therefore, Yudhishthir Maharaj is recollecting what Devrishi Narada has indicated in his previous discussion, and he is mentioning it in this dialogue. And here, one important line. When Maharaj Yudhishthira was lamenting the possibilities of his disappearance, it was just in pursuance of custom of lamenting the disappearance of a great friend. But factually, the Lord never quits his transcendental bodies as is misconceived by less intelligent persons. Such less intelligent persons have been condemned by Lord himself in Bhagavad Gita, and they are known as Mudas. That the Lord left his body means that he left again his plenary portions in respective dhammas, transcendental abodes, as he left his Virata Rupa in material world. It is therefore very important for us to understand the lamentation behind Yudhishthir Maharaj. So he is thinking of disappearance of a great friend. It is like missing a great friend. It is not that Lord is leaving his body means he's dying like a ordinary human being. That is not what it is. So that is why Prabhupada has elaborated this in this part of the purport. And if you see this shloka, Krishne Swadama Pagate Dharma Jnana Vibhi Sa Kalau Nashtad Vishamesha Puranarko Adunodita. This Bhagavata Purana is as brilliant as sun, and it has arisen just after departure of Lord Krishna to his own abode, accompanied by religion, knowledge, who have lost to dense darkness of ignorance in the age of Kali shall get light from this Purana. Therefore, there could be questions raised that Krishna left his body and hence he has a material form. There is a description uh, like this in Mahabharata. So people can read it and come to us and ask questions. For that, we need to answer. The first point that we can tell is Avajananti Mamuda. Fools derive, so bewilder the fools. Krishna has enacted these pastimes of leaving his body. When Lord is watched by people like Karna, Duryodhana, Dushasana, they only see the Virata form of the Lord. Devotees like Kunti or Yudhishthir Maharaj see the Lord. They see the Swarupa of the Lord. Devotees see Lord in Swarupa form and non-devotees see Lord in Virata form. So Lord has two components, material form which is Virata and spiritual form which is Swarupa. We have two identifications with us. One is spiritual and other is material. Our relatives, when they see in material form, see us in our material form, and devotees see us in spiritual form. When Srila Prabhupada came back to India after his trip to US, the Malik family became very proud that one of their sons have gone abroad and preached Krishna consciousness. They were more focused on the material designation like Malik. They saw Srila Prabhupada as one of their relatives, grandsons, or cousin. They were all principally worshippers of Durga. Srila Prabhupada's relatives were principally worshippers of Durga. Their main point was that our family member has gained reputation all over the world. This is complete material point of view. They did not know the true glory of Srila Prabhupada. However, the devotees know the spiritual personality, the pure Vaishnava, Srila Prabhupada. There is one interesting shloka in 11th canto, Lokabhiramam Swatanum Dharana Dhyana Mangalam Yoga Dharanaya Yajneyaya Dagdva Dama Visaswakam Lokabhiramam Swatanam Dharana Dhyana Mangalam Yoga Dharanaya Agneyaya Dadva Dhamma Visasvakam. Without employing the mystic Agni meditation to burn up his transcendental body, which is the all attractive resting place of all the worlds and the object of all contemplation and meditation, Lord Krishna entered into his own abode. As the time indicated, so now Yudhishthir Maharaj is thinking, as a time has arrived when Lord desire to give up the form engaged in pastime. Yudhishthir Maharaj is speaking about Krishna's departure in this way to express his lamentation for his friend and not to express the real truth. Now we can see here Lord Krishna entered his own abode without employing any Agni meditation. So Lord is entering his own abode. However, when we see this shloka, Saraswati Mata is speaking through mouth of Lord, of Maharaj Yudhishthira, giving another meaning to his verse. He desires to establish. We need to see the last word. Uchshikshati is going to quit. Means to Shishrikshati. Shishrikshati means to establish. Its expansions form Atmangam. Expansions of Lord form Atmanam Angam. This means that he wants to establish his form. This form is Shiroda Kashayi form. When Lord Krishna comes to this world, the Mahavishnu, Shiroda Kashayi Vishnu, Garbhoda Kashayi Vishnu, all take a back seat. Krishna takes the front seat. This is because all living entities consider Krishna as everything. If in a temple, local leader, usually the local president is prominent. But when some senior devotee comes, when a sannyasi comes, the local leader goes to the background. For a small preaching center, the manager of the preaching center is all in all. Everybody runs around him. When temple president goes there, local manager goes to the background. Thus, Vishnu forms take background roles when Lord Krishna appears in this world. So that is the word Utshikshati. It establishes. Shishrakshati means it establishes the earlier situations. Many things are directly done and executed by Lord Krishna. Like, for example, Sudharma assembly was brought down from heaven by Yadus by Krishna's strength. Krishna went along with Satyabhama and brought down the Parijata tree. And from Shamantaka pastime, we know that the best thing should be given to king. Therefore, the Shamantaka jewel was given to Lord Krishna. But Shatrajit, he did not give. Then he was consequently murdered by Shatadhanava. Thus, the best of things were available for Krishna when he was there, like Parijata plant, Sudharma assembly, and the Shamantaka jewel and so on. Thus, when Krishna is departing, he reinstates the three deities, which is Shirodakashaya Vishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Mahavishnu. Thus, they come to prominence, and Lord Krishna goes to the spiritual world. That is what is told here. He goes back. Lord Krishna enters his own abode, and when he goes there, he brings Bhagavata Purana is brought, and when he wants to complete all major activities uh, before so that he can wind up and go back to Godhead, and he goes back to his own abode. And when he leaves, Bhagavata Purana takes the prominence. And in this shloka, we see that Utshikshati, the Vishnu forms, take the prominence again. Thus, when Krishna is departing, he reinstates the three deities, Shirodakasha Vishnu, Garbhodakasha Vishnu, and Mahavishnu. Thus, they come to prominence. This is Utshikshati, that is the meaning of this word. The Shirodakasha Vishnu is reinstated to his position, who is Atma Angam, who is Atma Angam, Atmana Angam, Atmana Angam, who is the plenary portion of Krishna and is the gateway for all the Leela Avtaras in the universe. That is the significance of the word Kriditam, a manifestation. This is the now this is a very wonderful words. A creedom of his own self, Utshikshati, re-establishing. Okay, next, let us go to the next loka. स्थानसम्पदो राज्यं धारः प्राणकुलं प्रजः आसां सपत्नविजयो लोकाश्च यत् अनुग्रहात्. For him only all our kidney opulence, good wives, lives, progeny, control over our subjects, victory over our enemies, and future accommodations in higher planets have become possible. All this is due to his causeless mercy upon us. In this verse, we can see Yudhishthir Maharaj is very particular about giving glory to Krishna, who has helped them in their current position. So, what are those? One is the kingly opulence, the kingdom which was the result of winning the battle. This was by help of Krishna. Thus, every authority, like a temple commander, Sankirtana, should give glory to Krishna for giving that authority position to them. Krishna helped Pandavas win the battle. Then, good wives. The next point is good wives. Ladies from very rich family. They were all like Grihalakshmis. They were like Kulavatis. She will be very quick in helping the Pandavas sleep after husband, get up before husband. She has no, these women. They will take bath early and they will be already in kitchen by the time the kings get up. She sleep. She cleans the puja room so that the master, the husband, can go and do puja, and then she spreads happiness to all members of the family, like mother-in-law, father-in-law, husband, children, and so on. She is chaste in her character, pure in her habits. She cannot tolerate uncleanliness. She keeps everything spick and span. She cannot tolerate uncleanliness in any level. She will water everywhere and keep it clean. She doesn't tolerate anything unorderly anywhere. This is Kulavati Nari. She spreads happiness everywhere and knows what to speak, deal, and with whom and how with everyone. So that is the type of wives which Krishna helped Pandavas to get. And there are some bad characters of women, like lazy. She'll keep herself close and home unclean because of her laziness. When she is irreligious, materialist, demanding unclean, unchaste, she is bad in qualities. The qualities, these qualities are all bad qualities. Then she lives, then Yudhishthir Maharaj is talking about lies and progeny. Chanakya says that one should have a son who is knowledgeable, intelligent, submissive, and obedient. He is willing to serve. Then only father is happy. If a son is a fool, then it is better not to have a son. Anga Maharaj had a very bad progeny, so he had to return to forest in the mid of the night. Parikshit Maharaj is the progeny of the Pandavas here. Therefore, Yudhishthir Maharaj was very happy to hear about Parishit Maharaj and Brahmanas described about his qualities. Whether it is material or spiritual family, um, The family tradition is like a Olympic task. This torch is to be handed over to the subsequent generation. Bhakti Vinod Thakur handed over the responsibility to Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj handed over the torch to responsibility to Srila Prabhupada. He in turn has handed over, Srila Prabhupada in turn has handed it over to many of his disciples. The torchlight of Krishna consciousness is handed over in parampara and it has to be handed over to upcoming generations. Parampara should not be blocked or stopped due to somebody stuck in Maya. One has to spread it and take it further. Through preaching, we need to produce new progeny continuously. The focus here is that we get people who can remain in the movement and spread the movement. In this case, Yudhishthir Maharaj got a very powerful progeny in Parikshit Maharaj. In material family also, there is a worry of a father, especially from a big business family. To get a good son, grandson who can take up the business empire further is a desire of every big business family man. Girl will not be with this family. She would go to another family. Therefore, big businessmen generally want son to carry over the business of the family. Good progeny is required both for material and spiritual families. Then control over our subjects. Control over subjects is very important. The subjects always want sense enjoyment. When you restrict the sense enjoyment, they would do mischief, cheat, and find ways to indulge in sense gratification. Therefore, there were stringent laws to ensure no crime happens. Law and order was always in place in the rule of Yudhishthir Maharaj. There are two things in hand of a king. One is Shastra, other one is Shastra. Intelligent people would study Shastra and live by principles of Shastra. They do not require any control. Shastra is required to control who are mischievous and who want to break the rules. We cannot build community with just the Shastra or Shastra. We require both. This combination of Shastra and Shastra is true also in a devotee community. If these are not there, then everybody will come dance and then go on. There would not be stable people. There won't be any stable people in Krishna consciousness. If someone is there stable, then they would be stable for material reasons. They get food, shelter, money. They will remain materially happy without any spiritual progress. This is quite commonly seen in Christianity. The entire way of conversion is focused only on material benefit. Money is the only focus, no spiritual drive. We can easily say that we have millions of followers, but who strictly follows the sadhana? This is very important. Therefore, Shastra and Shastra can happen um, are very important. Otherwise, the way Christianity is spreading, that can happen to Krishna conscious community also. Then there won't, if this happens, then there won't be any expansion of Krishna consciousness, but only expansion of material community. Krishna conscious community is possible only when everybody follows Krishna conscious principles. When we establish this and ask them to follow Shastra and show Shastra, many people will run away. Only people who want spirituality will stay. Therefore, no, therefore the rules are there. If somebody does not abstain from grains on Ekadashi, there was punishment before in the during the rule of Parikshit Maharaj. In Kali Yuga, this control is very difficult. Because of this difficulty, in the name of religion, many nonsense things are going on. So kings had very good control over the subjects at the time of Parikshit Maharaj. Uh, by giving them, by giving Parikshit Maharaj had very good control by giving them profuse supply of food, clothing, and shelter. And if you see protection, people should get protection from thieves and rogues, protection for women from loose men, protection of men from loose women. This ensure religious protection. In addition, we need to protect old age people, children, cows, and Brahmins. So this was the first part of the control. Second part of the control is administration. This is control over subject. It is very important. Third one is welfare. Every person within the or within the country should get food, clothing, and shelter. These three importance, when they are taken care, the king is fulfilling his responsibility properly. On administration, there is a mention in Srimad Bhagavatam that when King Parishit Maharaj will depart from this world, people who are like lambs will be attacked by rogues who are like tigers. Therefore, it was necessary to establish a proper system before his departure. That was very important. But when there is a shepherd, then tiger cannot act. Parikshit Maharaj was acting like a shepherd, but when he will leave, these lambs will be attacked by rogues. The king is like a chivalrous protector of people who protects the people from tiger. Kali is actually like a tiger. Uh, there are two out of control situations. One, thieves and rogues will flourish. Second, the general mass has tendency to be irreligious. These are the two things which will happen when control is lost. When Kali goes wild, these two things can only happen. People become irreligious because irreligious route is very easy. This is the shortcut. Thus, control of subject is to control rogues and thieves and also control the general mass of people to follow proper religious route. Victory over enemies. That is the next point which we need to which Yudhishthir Maharaj is telling. Duryodhana, Dushasana, and Karna were the top enemies. They were not only problem for Pandavas but for the entire population. They were very unreasonable people. They wanted to establish religion as the topmost thing. So to completely destroy them, Krishna helped uh, Pandavas. Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, material prosperity consists of good wife, good home, sufficient land, good children, aristocratic family relationship, victory over competitors, and a pious work, attainment of accommodations in higher celestial planets for better facilities of material amenities. There is a lecture of Srila Prabhupada where he's telling becoming independent by depending on Krishna. Our ability to survive and remain visible in the world is purely dependent on our dependency on Krishna. Here we see in this sloka how Yudhishthir Maharaj is expressing his dependency on Lord Krishna. Our endeavor and Lord's grace both are required. Like doctor says, we treat and God heals. So there is an interesting anecdote. In Bihar, there was a doctor who always thinks himself to be savior. One day he saw Hare Krishna devotees in hospital. Then he asked, "You also fall sick?" He was sarcastic in his remark. The devotee humbly accepted and said, "Yes." We get treatment so that we can engage in service. That is why we have come to you. The doctor said, like this devotee, I have saved so many people. Then the devotee told the doctor, it is not he who has saved, it is Lord who has saved. And this doctor only has treated. But the doctor was saying that he was very insistent on the point that he only saved. However, devotee did not agree. Then the devotee asked how many people have they killed today in hospital? And then doctor asked, what does devotee mean? Then devotee told that every day someone or the other dies in the hospital. Isn't it true? Then doctor said yes. There are few based on their fate they die. Then the devotee caught hold of it. So the doctor told the devotee that it is the fate which is taking their life away. When the doctor told this, devotee caught hold of it. If patient is saved, it is because of the doctor, and if the patient dies, it is the faith. Devotee pointed out the bogus nature of the point. Doctors only treat, and God says. This is what the devotee emphasized with the doctor. This point correctly proves that doctor is not a savior. Krishna is the savior. We need to just be dependent on Krishna. Devotees are spiritual doctors. We do not bring or make devotees. We only act as instruments to reach message of Krishna. If we are not there, there would be someone else doing the same function for the Lord. The preaching will continue. Therefore, we should never take ownership of delivering the conditioned souls. We are just a player. We are just an instrument playing the part in serving Lord and His devotees. This understanding is very important for us. Let us go to next shloka, shloka number 10. पश्योत्पातान् नरव्याघ्र दिव्यान् भौमान् सदैकान् दारुणान् संस्ततो दूरात् भयं नु buddhimohanam. Just to see, oh man, with the tiger strength, how many miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily planes, all very dangerous in themselves, are foreboding danger in near future by deluding our intelligence. Prabhupada is mentioning in the purport, material advancement of civilization means advancement of reactions of threefold miseries due to celestial influences, earthly reactions, and bodily or mental planes. By the celestial influence of stars, there are many calamities like excessive heat, cold, rain, or no rains, and the after effects are famine, disease, epidemic. The aggregate result is agony of body and mind. Man-made material science cannot do anything to counteract these threefold miseries. In purport, Srila Prabhupada makes the point that in order to do our Krishna conscious duties, we need Krishna's grace. Our physical health should be good for our chanting. If our relatives are about to die, can we practice Krishna conscious properly? No, it is very difficult. Therefore, we need to see Krishna's hand. When there is a religious king ruling, then all this Adi Atmik, Adi Devik, Adi Bhautik Klesha will be handled by the king. We can do our duties properly. We will not get too much bothered by these problems. Material miseries also will impede our progress of spiritual duties. Thus, when there is a very good rule, then we can do our spiritual duties properly and go back home, back to God. Thus, a good leadership is required. so that the material miseries are kept away. We do not need material miseries away for leading a material life peacefully. When there are no material miseries, we become complacent, we become cozy. Material miseries should be removed to the extent is spiritual peacefully. This is possible only through Krishna's mercy. When we read Srimad Bhagavatam, because we are doing our spiritual duty. Same way, a solid morning program from early morning 4:30 up to Darshanarthi and Srimad Bhagavatam class will attract Krishna. Thus, our material miseries will be offset to the extent that our spiritual life is alive and active. Devotee should not be complacent that material miseries are over. If he does that, then he would be once again put in situation where material miseries will overtake his life. This will ensure that devotee becomes awake, then they perform the spiritual duties properly. We have a tendency to slack when everything is available. Therefore, there should be some miseries which challenges us to remain steadfast in our devotional service. Garbhodakasha Vishnu, if you see, he sleeps on the bed of Ananta Shesha. He has a watch on the Devatas. When Devatas lack in their service to the Lord, then the Lord increases Rajo and Tamo Guna in the planet. He does not do it on his own, but through his Kala Shakti. One of the aspects of Kala is Kali Yuga. Satya, Treta, Dwapara, and Kali are the different yugas. Kali Yuga, the mischievous tendency of the people is tremendously high. In Kali Yuga, the mischief is very high, and therefore miseries are also very high. We see people shout, but devotees shout Krishna's name, Hare Krishna. In 11th canto, there is a verse which states that in Kali Yuga, the conditions are so difficult. People are shouting at the top of their lungs. Devotees are also suffering. They have to travel long distances to reach temple. Air is polluted. Vegetables are not good. There is no good water. These problems are there so that living entities can take up this Krishna consciousness very seriously and go back home, back to Godhead. Srila Prabhupada says that in Kali Yuga, for devotees, the miseries are significantly reduced. Simply taking to good habits, culture, four regulatory principle, one is freed from all problems significantly. We will be peaceful enough for leading a spiritual life. Therefore, we need to thank Krishna, we need to thank mercy of Srila Prabhupada that we have got this knowledge to understand uh, how we can exit from this miserable condition. We need to do a very good sadhana. We need to get up early, attend Mangalarti, chant 16 rounds, follow four regulatory principles, and always eat Krishna Prasad. When we do this, the miseries in our life will be reduced and we'll be able to practice Krishna conscious nicely. And at the end of our life, we'll go back to Godhead. We will stop here. Thank you very much. Machakal Patarvyascha Kripasindhuvayacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. ग्रंथराज भगवत श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल हरि हरि हरे कृष्णा